What's up, everyone? Welcome to episode 28 of the ShockCast. My name's Luke Cantaldi. I'm the host of the show. Joining us today, not Giuseppe, weirdly enough. You're the only one who groaned about that. We're a bit happy. No one's getting fired this ShockCast.
Not yet.
We got Azario with us.
What's up, everybody?
And Ryan, our co-host.
I'm still alive after playing Resident Evil.
You didn't beat it, though.
Not yet. I've still got a ways to go.
And you're not doing the VR, so nothing's coming and actually grabbing you. I think that's how that works. Yeah, I saw people play that. That looks too scary. I know I'm going to play it, and that's really an understatement, but I know I'm going to play it eventually, and I'm not going to handle it well. I should record myself doing it, but I'm such a little bitch.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of people swear by it and say like that's the way to play the game, is play it in VR.
Yeah, that's the only reason I bought it. I pre-ordered it last week, and just because I looked at my PlayStation VR and I was like, man, this thing's collecting dust.
Sad and lonely.
I'm going to have to use it at some point, so I just pre-ordered it. Which sucks because Tales of Berseria, Yakuza 0, Kingdom Hearts 2.8.
Get that, it's good.
Resident Evil's not long, though. You'll finish it pretty quick.
Wait, how short is it?
It's around 10 to 12 hours, I think, but like I think I'm like halfway through, so I think you could definitely finish it faster if you go through it pretty quick.
I don't read reviews unless they're on our site, so that's why I don't. Yeah. So Ryan's taking
forever.
Good
that game is. I do know how good Dragon Quest VIII is, though.
Yeah, that review just came up.
That was a good review.
Yeah, it was pretty good. So
all right, so let's segue into that in a little bit. Right now, let's just briefly mention the topic of the show is going to be closed studios, canceled games. Giuseppe,
a lot of sadness too.
Yeah, a lot of sadness. Giuseppe proposed this, and then said, "No, I don't want to do the ShockCast tonight. I'm too busy eating ramen in Japan and finding my waifu."
Going to massage parlors.
Yeah,
getting his ears cleaned.
Going to those cat cafes.
Cafes.
Hey, you don't have to go to Japan for those. I did that in New York, so.
Oh, hey, oh.
Those are...
Wait, are we talking about cat cafes or massage
Yes, a cat. No, a cat cafe.
All right. So yeah, we might be a little lighter on that, and we may continue that discussion into next week when Giuseppe's here. Giuseppe, of course, is like on every closed studio and canceled game like a hawk. All right. So first and foremost. Thanks everyone who showed up for the Twitch stream. We go live every Wednesday at 8:30 Eastern. So come watch, be part of the show. Twitch.tv/DualShockers live. Is that right? I think that's right.
Yeah, that's it.
I normally don't say it in the beginning, so I want to say it now before people tune out. Because I know when I listen to a podcast, I always like skip through the last minute or two.
I just fall asleep.
That too. Yeah, I always have the sleep timer on.
Thanks guys for all my hard work.
Ryan just puts you to sleep.
So hopefully we are still talking to you while you're awake. Sweet dreams.
Sweet dreams.
Okay, so let's go into what everyone's been playing lately. We've done a ton of reviews. This
has been a pretty. I think just this January in general has been unusually packed. There's like tons of stuff that's coming out this year, and January's usually a dead zone. So.
Right. Yeah, people got wise to the Dying Light strategy.
Yeah, they did. Got on quick.
And yeah, it's just been. This is the first really big games week of 2017, and it is a strong games week. I mean, Yakuza, Kingdom Hearts, everything else, Tales.
Yep.
All right, so I want to hear what everyone's playing. Ryan, what have you been doing?
So I just got finished up, as we said, with I'm still playing it, but I have a lot more to go with Dragon Quest VIII on 3DS, which is really fun. I mentioned in the review that it's not necessarily the best way to play the game because it doesn't look great. It's they definitely had to make some compromises to get it on there. But if you're looking for a really good RPG, it's definitely a lot of fun, and I really especially because I like playing RPGs on portables, so I think this is like a perfect fit. It's a really good type of game that you can play for 15, 20 minutes, 5 hours, if you want. Like it's a really solid, fun game. The other one is Resident Evil VII. And it's also I feel like I've been glad to have those two games balance things out because Dragon Quest is very light and charming and fun and colorful, and Resident Evil is not that at all. It's really dark and scary. But Resident Evil is really good. I've been liking it a lot. So I'll have a review for that probably the next few days. It'll be pretty soon.
All right, so we're out of embargo. We're well out of embargo. The game's out.
The game's out. Yeah.
All right, so let's say right now, if you are rating the game based on your experience, where are you putting it? And this isn't a final review. We're gonna change. It might change.
No,
subject to change without notice.
I have a range. I'm right now. I'm kind of between an 8 or a 9. It's between there.
Great or amazing.
I'm not really sure yet where I'm gonna fall. I think it's gonna be one of those two scores. There's a lot of the game's really good. I think the biggest things are that a lot of people were concerned about that they switch it to a first-person perspective and that it's very different from what the normal Resident Evil games have been in the past. Azario, doing some product placement with his shirt. Wearing, so we have to.
God, you shill.
This show is sponsored by.
This show is
Resident
not sponsored
Evil
anyway by Resident Evil 7. But anyway, so I think that's probably the game's strongest element is the fact that it is so different, and Resident Evil for obvious reasons has kind of needed a reboot for a while. Resident Evil 6 was definitely not the best game; it was pretty bad. So Resident Evil 7 is definitely a nice step, nice direction for the series to be going in. I think so far the only negatives I have for it so far are the boss fights and the puzzles are not very good. Boss fights especially are pretty bad, and puzzles, like, there are some good ones in there. Like, I actually like, without spoiling anything, there's basically a puzzle that's kind of like an escape room where it's like you're locked inside of a room and you have to. It's basically like Escape the Room Resident Evil, and you have to like try to figure out do one thing that unlocks something else, and then you go to another, and that sort of thing. Which that one's really fun, but other than that, there's really not much in the way of puzzles. It's just kind of like, okay, go find this. If you thought that there weren't going to be like random keys and things you had to find, you're wrong because there are a lot of them in this game. But basically, you just go and find a random key that opens one door, and then it's not as I don't think the puzzle design is as clever as previous Resident Evils have had.
Do they have item management in the game?
Yes. Yeah, okay. There is definitely the item management that you've seen from all the previous games.
Like Code Veronica and all those ones.
Yeah, you have a very limited inventory, and so I do think they do a good balance of because there's also like a small crafting system in this game that's pretty basic, but I think works really well because then you find these sort of things you could use to craft healing items, or you could craft ammo. So then you're kind of in situations where it's like, do I craft a healing herb to keep me alive, or do I have to craft more ammo to keep me alive for,
Mm-hmm.
I think the game relies a little too much on combat. I know a lot of people thought that this would be kind of like Amnesia or Outlast, that it would be more about you being defenseless and hiding a lot, but it's actually very combat focused, which I kind of hoped they would do more of like the Outlast or Alien Isolation, like where it's more about hiding and running away.
That gets tedious.
It does.
Can you hide?
You can. See, the thing is, though, that I think the character, like, his running speed is, like, 0.2% faster than his walking speed, so it's not, it's not a big difference. So, like, even when you're running, it's not much faster than walking. So I feel like even if they did try to do that, where it was more about running and hiding, I don't know how it would have been. So, but, I think also the thing, too, is that there's not a lot of enemy variety. The best enemies that are in the game are the Bakers, which is the family that you've seen in the trailers, where they're kind of, it's almost like a system like Resident Evil 3 Nemesis, where they basically kind of like pursue you through certain spots. So, example, Jack Baker, the father who you fight in the beginning of the game, he'll burst through walls. He'll like come chasing after you, but it cuts random, so you don't really know like where he's gonna pop up or when, which is cool. But then there's a little bit of pressure because you can, if you shoot him enough times, it'll like stop him temporarily, so you can go run away or whatever. But then there's kind of that a lot of the enemies are very bullet spongy, so you basically have to waste all your ammunition just to take them down for a little bit, which can get a little annoying. But I think it's good that they didn't. It might be good that they didn't do the route of like Alien Isolation, where you had to hide from the alien like every 5 minutes, which got old really quick. So
yeah, made a 10-hour game take 16 hours.
It did, yeah. Alien Isolation, as much as I love that game, was way too long. So I think that this is a good Resident Evil so far. The pacing is really, really good. I think that the balance they hit between combat and exploring and all that stuff is really good, and it's just like they keep you. You don't feel like you're staying in one place too long. You can explore if you want, and you definitely need to, because surprisingly enough, like it's really hard to find items in the game. Like they hide them really well. There's a thing in the game, I forget what it's called, but basically it'll temporarily let you see the location of all the different items in the environment. And I was like, oh, I found everything, it's good. And then I used that and saw millions of markers all over the place. I'm like, oh god, I did not find everything. It's like, but overall, yeah, I'm really liking it. It's I'm about like 2/3 of the way through the game right now, so I'm getting toward the end. So, but so far I'm really liking it a lot.
All right, I got a question. Did you play the demo?
I did play the demo, yeah.
Did they ever find a use for the finger?
There is a use for the finger.
Okay, good. That's all I want to know.
Yeah. It's not necessarily, because you do actually, in the original, like the beginning hour demo, that area, you do go through that in the beginning of the game, but it's a little different. Like they switched some things around. I think the beginning hour demo is more like they made it a little bit more standalone versus you'll see when you play the game. But it's in there, but it's a little bit different from what you might have remembered from the beginning hour demo.
Okay. Dalo over in the comments says that he's mostly been playing Gravity Rush 2. Great choice. He's been doing side missions and collecting gems, and he likes it. So far, it's shaping up to be good. So I'm really looking forward to get to that. There's way too many good games. Azario, what are you playing?
I'm actually playing Gravity Rush 2 right now. Even though I picked up all those games today, I'm Gravity Rush 2.
What do you mean all those games?
I picked up Tales of Berseria, Yakuza 0, Kingdom Hearts 2.8.
Oh my god.
Dragon Quest 8.
How do you have this money? Aren't you a college student? All that DualShockers bucks.
Yeah, all that DualShocker money, dude. I don't even buy games anymore. No, I love physical copies, so even when I do end up getting codes, either I'll give them away or use them for review.
It's dumb. But whatever you want to do. I love my physical copies too, but I'm not turning away free codes.
Yeah. I love the smell of new games. I wrote it in my editorial recently.
Ever since they got rid of manuals, I'm done.
Yeah, and now it's like a big thing when companies include manuals in their game. Like Fate Extella had a manual on the PS4 version of the game, and like full 50-page color manual, and like it does look nice.
Yeah,
it totally beats putting the control settings on the back of the slip of the cover, the cover slip. Putting the control scheme back there, like, okay, you guys are really saving paper.
Yeah.
But Gravity Rush 2, God, this game is like, it's amazing. The sounds, the colors, Cat, oh my God, she's so hot.
We should have named this the Azario's Waifu show, for this week.
We should have. He could introduce everyone on his wall.
Yeah.
I hated that you showed that in the Twitter or the Twitch picture, by the way. You can see how much of a pervert I am.
No, it's cool. It's cool. We all knew it beforehand, so it's all right.
Yeah, yeah. So Gravity Rush 2, it's fast. I love that comic book style cutscenes that it has.
Yeah.
There's room to explore. There's you don't always have to follow the marker unless you're timed, but it's just there's something to say about that series that it's amazing that it even got a sequel, and I'm really glad that it came out. And I don't mind that it's not on the Vita. It runs great on the PS4, and it's God, I would just listen to it for the soundtrack, and that came with the pre-order of the game, so it's pretty cool.
By the way,
I was sorry. Go ahead, Lou.
I was just gonna say, Dalo agrees with you. Kat is cute, but she's a strong character, which is nice.
Yeah, I was kind of bummed, I think, at first when they said that Gravity Rush 2 wasn't going to come out in Vita, because like Gravity Rush, the original's like easily probably like one of my like favorite Vita games I've ever played. It's an amazing game. Or even if you like, I didn't play the remastered version on PS4, but I'm sure that looked great. But the upside, like Gravity Rush 2, just from like a graphical perspective, looks great from all the trailers I've seen. So I definitely want to get to it at some point. I think once I clear out my backlog a little more. But I was gonna ask Azario about, like, because I know that they said that they added side quests. So I'm just curious, like, what those are, and do you like, are they as good as like the main quest stuff, or do you find them
they're
fun?
they're pretty much like they were in the first one. If you remember, like, the side quest to get costumes, like, you would have to clean a woman's house or, like, move items from one section to another. It's stuff like that.
I forgot that the first game even had that. It's like, I guess 'cause I mostly just did the main quest. So
yeah, the problem was that was DLC too. You actually had to purchase it.
Okay.
Yeah. And then there's like time trials where race the clock, those types of things, or kill this many enemies in this amount of time, stuff like that. You don't have to do it, but it's better because you get to upgrade Cat, and that'll make your life a lot easier when the enemies get stronger, and if you want to go faster. Other than that, I'm still playing Atelier,
whatever.
Yeah, I'm still playing that on my Vita. Love the Vita.
I'm trying to remember which.
I wrote an editorial. Thanks, Ryan, for approving it. It's on the site right now for Koei Tecmo's Tweak It in 2. Kind of mentioning that they haven't released a physical Vita game since Tweak It in Kiwami, and that was 2 years ago. And they said that they were never going to do it again because that didn't sell well. And they didn't. And the only thing that they did was do limited physical runs through the NIS America web store. So the fact that Tweak It in 2 is coming to retail, so it's going to be in your GameStop for Vita, is pretty cool. It's pretty big news. So if you are a Vita supporter, then check that out or share it with somebody that might enjoy a Monster Hunter type game.
We didn't give out that copy of Atelier, did we? I think we said we were going to give out a copy of Atelier.
We have one, I believe.
Yeah, let me go through.
I think we wanted to do that on the site, though. I'm not sure.
No, we wanted to do the other one, the Fate Extella.
Ah, yes. I don't mind.
Let me make sure I have it first. So, yeah, I don't know where these go.
Other than that, I'm definitely going to be playing a lot of games this weekend. So, next week we'll talk.
Good. All right. This week, what have I been playing? I did Kingdom Hearts 2.8, which was very good. Surprisingly good. I feel as if the gaming community, and I put this in the review, the gaming community kind of had a collective groan when Kingdom Hearts 2.8 was announced.
Because it's not Kingdom Hearts 3?
Yeah, because it's not Kingdom Hearts 3. You get 1.5, 2.5. You imagine the next thing's going to be 3. And then, no, boom, it's 2.8, Final Chapter Prologue, which is a nonsense title. That said, Dream Drop Distance is a surprisingly fantastic game.
Did you ever play it on 3DS?
No, I never played it on the 3DS.
I really liked. I mean, it's interesting. I would be interested to see that game, to see the HD version of it in 2.8, because I played it on 3DS and I really liked it a lot. I think the only thing I know you mentioned in the review, Lou, was the drop system and how that could kind of be a little annoying sometimes, because you're in the middle of a boss fight or something that you're trying to finish, and then you gotta switch characters and go to the other one. So
I hated that.
That was annoying a little bit. Yeah,
there was some bright sides with things. I mean, let me think. You didn't have any camera issues, which I think were really present for the 3DS version. The graphics, of course, are next level in terms of comparing it to the 3DS version. But the game really is one that I think was underplayed. Not that people don't own 3DSs, but I don't know. I think a lot of people, unless you're a big Kingdom Hearts fan, you're hesitant to get a Kingdom Hearts game on 3DS.
Yeah, I feel like also too that like Dream Drop Distance is the one that like out of all like the spin-offy games or like the not mainline games, I feel like that's the one that you like if you're gonna choose one to play. I feel like that's the one. I didn't play Birth by Sleep, but I've also heard that's good. But I feel like Dream Drop Distance is like basically like 2.5. Like it's
Yeah, it's
And you get
really
to play as Riku.
yeah. That is a good point. Playing as Riku is great, but
yeah.
the story, while there are some major plot holes. And I do think that a lot of those, a lot of the reasons they went with the plot the way they did was just to bring back previous fan-beloved characters. Because otherwise it makes no sense in the grand scheme of Kingdom Hearts. Because, can we do spoilers? This is like a 4-year-old game.
I think it's fine.
All right.
Or Dream Drop?
All right, so in Kingdom Hearts, I'm going to try and do this as basically as I can. In the Kingdom Hearts games, you got the nobodies who are kind of like the Heartless. They don't have hearts. They're typically, if they're strong enough, human-like versions, and there's a lot of the evil villains are these nobodies. They pine for game after game about not having hearts and wanting to get hearts and all of this stuff, and then Dream Drop Distance comes along, and you find out that really all they had to do was kill themselves, and then they come back with hearts. So compared to like trying to summon Heaven, Kingdom Hearts, why didn't they just fucking put a knife to their throat? But that's neither here nor there. As a self-contained story, it's actually very good. More importantly, Birth by Sleep I think that's the one I'm thinking of. Point 2.
That's the PS.
That's the PS Vita game.
PSP. No, it's the PSP one, I think.
Yeah.
PSP.
But isn't that the one that I think it's Birth by Sleep Point 2, the
something
fragmentary.
like that? Yeah.
It's like after the events of Birth by Sleep.
Yeah.
Right. It's after the events of Birth by Sleep, but also kind of after the events of Dream Drop Distance.
Mhm.
Very good. It's clearly using the tech that Kingdom Hearts 3 is doing. Clearly has like a lot of the components that we're going to see in Kingdom Hearts 3, just functionality wise, and it's amazing. Like I would say it might be a notch below Final Fantasy 15 graphically, but not too far off.
Is that the one you play as Aqua?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Aqua's game.
yeah.
Waifu.
And it is, as far as everything, it's the game that has gotten me the most excited about Kingdom Hearts 3, and now I'm kind of champing at the bit to get that whenever it does come out, like 8 years from now.
Whenever it does.
All right, we do have a copy of Atelier Shally Plus, Alchemist of the Dusk Sea, for PlayStation Vita, North America code, to give away. Should we do it now?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah. Do you wanna put it on the Twitter and let people know, or?
No, we're already mid-episode. We have
There
something
we
go.
for next week too. We might have Tales of. We'll wait and see. We may have Tales of Berseria to give out next week. So
We'll wait and see.
we'll wait and see. Let's see if this works. Dallo, of course,
Dallo.
always here. Dallo, let us know if you want Atelier Shally Plus on PlayStation Vita for North America. All right, so now that that's out of the way, let's go into canceled games, closed studios, some of the news we've heard lately, and they've kind of been scattered. I think 2016 may have been a particularly bad year, though 2017 notoriously, as soon as we got into it, we saw the end of a game
Scalebound.
that Azario's been looking forward to.
Yeah.
I think the shocking thing, though, is we had that whole 2017 predictions thing. None of us said Scalebound, and I think that might have been so obvious.
Yeah. The thing is I bought a Xbox One S wanting Scalebound. Like that was the only game I could see myself kind of playing, so it really hit me that it got canceled, and I'm sure it's done Platinum Games. The whole way it was like unveiled and stuff, where like there was some leaked information, and then Microsoft was like, okay, fuck it. I mean, they already know. And So it's like,
That was a reason a lot of people were picking up Xboxes and Xbox Ones. Platinum Games has a huge following, and especially, for a console that really doesn't represent Japanese studios to the best of its ability, I feel like a lot of people now feel misled because of it.
yeah,
Maybe. It is interesting because I mean Scalebound and then even games like Recore and stuff like that are very different from what we've normally seen on Xbox. But I think it's cool that they tried to, diversify their library a little bit. Part of me wonders though, like how successful that not that I wish it wouldn't have been successful or anything like that. Like I obviously I wish I would, but I wonder how successful that the game would have been on Xbox One if it released. Just because we've seen games from Microsoft like Blue Dragon, things like that, games that like didn't really click with that audience or with that, because even though those types of games might appeal to Japanese audiences and stuff like that, like Xboxes are virtually non-existent in Japan, like pretty much. So I just kind of wonder if the game would have had an audience like here or in Japan.
I think it would have had a huge audience, but I think the Platinum Games in itself was making this game aimed towards Western gamers.
Yeah.
All of the E3 footage that we saw was all in English, and everything was. God, that what sucks is you look back and you look at all those old trailers and stuff, and the game looks so good. The world kind of reminded me of like a Xenoblade Chronicles kind of world, where it's very rich and green and widespread.
Yeah.
I feel like
the dragon stuff looked really cool and different.
I feel like maybe they couldn't find a something that made it fun, and Microsoft wasn't helping, so I don't know. There's a huge story behind this, and
Someone's
one day
gonna find it. Yeah,
one day they're gonna come out and say it, or maybe it'll be like a Kojima thing where we'll never know what really happened at Konami. I don't know. It just sucks because you can tell that Platinum Games was pretty upset about the whole thing, and I didn't really like the way Phil Spencer handled the situation, but he handled it to the best of his abilities, where he was just like, yeah, this sucks, but we have all these other games coming in. But do you really, man? Like I feel if Microsoft wants to succeed, and they can succeed, they're doing fine. They're doing fine on third-party support, I suppose. They're getting games, but if they're going to succeed in this generation, they really need to come out and give us some of these exclusive games.
I'm sorry, I laughed just because Dallo in the comments says Scalebound's a piece of crap. I've never heard it that bluntly.
It just, the reason why Scalebound could have been is because it didn't have a direction. Like, it looked beautiful, but the fact that they showed that one scene of like 4 players on 4 different dragons going up a boss, and then another scene of like him like swooping down on some guards that didn't look like they belonged in the world. There was no direction. The story probably wasn't there, and that's where they hit a roadblock, where they had this beautiful world and they just didn't have the right direction.
Right.
So that's probably the reason why it looked confusing. Back to Microsoft, they really need to come out and give us a reason that we want to play their console. Like, why would I play Mass Effect Andromeda on an Xbox One when I own a PS4? That's what I want. I want them to convince me. I want them to convince me to play it.
Yeah.
And this E3, they better come out strong with that Scorpio shit.
I think that's where they're gonna put all of their eggs in a basket. Is just.
I'm just waiting for Azario to go grab his Xbox One and throw it out the window right now. Just like.
Fuck you, Phil Spencer.
Dallo says, I still think Microsoft is full of it right now. I mean, yeah, I think things are tough for Microsoft. I think it's hard for them to be on the bottom again. Or not on the bottom. There's only 2 really competing. But it's hard for them to be number 2, and they are doing some... Like, I was in an argument with someone over the Nintendo Switch press conference, which we can say is awful, but if you can't even imagine how awful. I mean, I guess you can. We're living in that world. We're in that timeline, but how awful that Xbox One reveal press conference was. That it has had the reverberations at least to this day. You know, thank God Phil Spencer's there righting the ship, but it was really bad for a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. They just didn't like Scalebound. They didn't have direction. They thought that people wanted sports and cable television, and that just wasn't the case. And then it's so silly. Like, everyone complains, everyone hates on it, and then they switch and reverse everything, and they backpedal, and then all these journalists fucking write papers like, you guys, Xbox One would have been the best console, and no, you were just writing articles a week ago about how stupid they were, and now you're writing articles about how good of an idea, and I'm just like, God, this fucking video game industry, you guys. Like,
yeah, well, people run to be the most angered and the most offended person on the internet constantly. If we're talking on Twitter or Tumblr or just in the game journalist sphere, sometimes it helps to be the site with the level-headed approach, and I think DualShockers does that a lot, though I don't want to toot our own horn.
Well, not continuing not to toot our own horn, but when Dead or Alive Extreme 3 was coming out, you had all these sites giving it press and like talking crap on it, and now we're one of the only sites that still covers the DLC and the updates. So where are they? Where are those loud people that were complaining about the physics and the gameplay and judging it? And where are they now? They're nowhere. Like, it's such bullcrap.
All right, so reverting back to our original topic with canceled games and closed studios, another one was, I believe, Guerrilla Cambridge.
Yeah, they were the developers of Killzone Mercenary and Riggs. Yeah, that was the other one. Yeah.
Ooh, yeah, I didn't like Riggs. I'm gonna be honest.
Riggs was terrible. But fuck you, Sony, for giving them the worst games and the worst console hardware to work with. I mean, you knew that the beta was dying and you knew you were going to support it, but you give them Killzone Mercenaries, which arguably is the best first-person shooter on the Vita.
I don't think it's arguable.
I've heard it's a good game.
It is. It looks amazing. It's running on the Killzone 3 engine on the Vita. Like, how awesome is that? And then you give them rigs. And then you give them what is it, like a gimmick game? Like, here's this gimmick of VR. You make a game out of it. Of course, it's not gonna do well. You know, like, of course, you're selling it for $60. You're selling is it $60? I believe it is, right?
It was like 50, I think, or something. 50? Yeah, it was right. It was You're overpriced game, and it's called Rigs, and it's like a made up sports game. They put them out to die. It's like
Rocket League, except in VR.
They put them out to die. They didn't need to do that to them. They could have given them something that they wanted to do. Yeah. It's just that pisses me off.
But going back to being pissed off at publishers, Dalo brings up once again Xbox with Lionhead, Fable Legends, and Phantom Dust, which were both really kind of stabs in the back regarding canceled games and big games. But yeah, Riggs never resonated with me. I think they were a fantastic studio for what they were able to do, and I think Riggs kind of lacked the vision that many other games had, and you could tell it was gonna not go over too well by how hard they were pushing it. And
oh yeah, they were showing it at every E3, every convention. Come play Riggs. We have it all set up.
Making tournaments out of it. I mean, I don't know. It's the PlayStation VR. While I love it, has really been best used on stationary games, and I knew one where you're moving around wasn't going to feel too great.
Yeah,
I agree.
All right, so more games canceled lately. And this speaks to Nintendo, actually, because of Nintendo's abandonment of the Wii U. We've seen a lot of Wii U games get canceled, but also announced for the Switch. Lately, we've seen Yooka-Laylee, we've seen Stardew Valley, The Last Penelope, and that's just naming the few that I wrote articles to lately. But it seems to be a common trend. And I guess if you are going to cancel a game, that's the way to do it. Like, I'd be less upset if a Vita game got canceled and they said, but it's coming to PS4.
Yeah, I think that's the same case here, where it's like, games like, we're not going to get Stardew Valley on Wii U, but we're going to get it on Switch. And arguably, I think that's honestly a better position to be in, because then, like portable Stardew Valley is going to be awesome. I would love to play that. So, yeah,
I'm hype about that.
Yeah, but I think it definitely stings less if it's like, well, it's canceled on this platform, but it is coming to this one, where it's like, well, it's at least it's coming somewhere. So,
right. Okay. I got a question for everyone here, and everyone in the comments, and anyone who wants to write into the ShockCast, and we could always read it if you email us. But what is the game that you are most upset about being canceled?
You're putting me on the spot.
I have two.
You got one.
You got one? Okay. All right. I got mine.
All right, I'll go first, and in case it was one of yours, you have a backup.
Okay.
And this one's super easy, but PT. I mean, come on.
That was mine. Yeah.
That was totally.
But PT, and I guess in conjunction with that, Allison Road, did that get canceled? I feel like that got canceled.
I think that's coming back.
I think they
they
did receive funding. Yeah.
Yeah, but I picked PT was my pick because I wrote the article last year about the cancellation. And, like, not that I was crying, but, like, I definitely felt emotion inside where I was, like, very upset that got canceled. Or Silent Hills, I mean, not PT getting canceled. But yeah, like, that was really upsetting. Like, PT was such a cool demo, and
it's
the
one of my
idea
favorite
of, like,
gaming experiences ever.
Yeah, I think just the idea behind Silent Hills where, like, you had Kojima, you had Guillermo del Toro, you had Norman Reedus, you had this, like, awesome team behind it. And then just all the Konami and Kojima drama kind of got in the way of that.
Yeah, that was really a tragedy. I think Konami, and this has been said over and over again, so it's really beating a dead horse, but Konami is very short-sighted. Everyone wanted that game. Even, I think that the whole fuck Konami, insistence of last year, and which is still going on, would have been lessened if they kept PT. I think that it was a bunch of different things, especially PT with it. Dalo in the comments says his was actually Capcom's misdoing. Mega Man Legends 3, I agree with you there. That is something I wanted to play. I love the Mega Man Legends.
I agree. It got me. That was the first game that made me motion sick, though. I remember throwing up.
1 or 2?
1. I rented it from Blockbuster, went home, was like, got me a pizza, got in my PJs, this is going to be my weekend. And I was throwing up for the rest of the night after 3 hours of playing that game.
Now, what console were you playing it on?
PlayStation.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't have any issue, but I have a strong stomach. I haven't thrown up from a... That's not true. I did throw up from a VR game. It's just one I didn't review.
Which one was the one that did it?
Oh, it was...
Ace Banana.
That was an awful game, but
Game of the year 2016, Ace Banana.
It was actually Robinson the Journey. Which, it was so bad I couldn't review it. And I want to say that the game was good, or that everything, it was a well-developed PSVR game, but I honestly, and I've heard this from so many people, I just couldn't stomach it. And that was like 3 or 4 days of consistently throwing up like exactly 15 minutes after I put the headset on.
Wow. It's crazy.
All right. Ryan, we did yours, right? We just did it?
Well, I have my backup one, so
right,
I can talk about that. So
yeah, what was it?
So this one's gonna be a little bit of a throwback, but StarCraft Ghost, which was a while back. And for those that may not have known, basically Blizzard was working on. I've heard there was another studio. I forget the name of the top. I think Swing and Ape was the name of the studio. I think that took it over at one point. But basically, it was going to be a StarCraft like third-person stealth game. So I guess almost like a Splinter Cell, but like you playing as a ghost. So it was like a stealth action third-person game, and it looked really cool. Like it was awesome because like I was really into StarCraft around that time. I think it's supposed to come out around like 2003, 2004, and then eventually I think in like '05 or so they canceled it officially. And I just remember this game very fondly because I was so looking forward to it to the point that. I think at one point it had a release date of like December to the 2003 or 4 around my birthday. I was really excited because I was like, oh man, I'm gonna get StarCraft Ghost around my birthday. It's gonna be awesome. I went to a Toys R Us with my mom to go and get this game because that's when I thought that it was coming out, and then I was heartbroken when I found out that it was like not. It got delayed and then eventually canceled, and so that was really upsetting for me. Okay,
Azario, what's your game?
Mine's actually not a game, but it's a studio.
Okay.
Hudson Soft, 2012, got absorbed into Konami. They are the makers of Milon's Secret Castle, Bomberman, Bonks. If anyone's played Bonks Adventure,
I think they worked on the original Smash Brothers too.
I think they did.
They did. And they might. Did they do Kirby stuff too? I thought they might have done.
They did a few Kirby games.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did. They did a lot, guys. The sad part is like no one really liked Hudson Soft. Like after the '90s, like no one really cared. They weren't really doing anything, except for porting games to they ported East 1 and 2 to like the PC.
I'm looking
stuff like that
right now to see all the games they've done. I'm curious.
Yeah, they've done a lot. So just right after they were absorbed by Konami, we totally lost. We're never gonna see another Bonks. We're never gonna see anything Milon because Hudson had a way of like if you've ever played Saturn Bomberman. They have a 10-player mode on that game where you can connect 10 controllers to this Saturn and play a huge game of Bomberman. But they included all their characters from all their past games, and they do stuff like that where they have a sense of nostalgia in their games.
They're proud of their
we're
heritage.
Never going to see that again. We'll see with this new Sonic R, I believe, on the Switch.
Sonic? Bomberman?
Or Sonic Bomberman R.
Yeah.
I got it confused.
I'm super excited for that as a Bomberman.
Yeah,
fan.
but I hope that they do that same thing where they include like throw Milon in there or throw Bonks in there. Like give us some old characters. It'd be really cool if they did that. But rest in peace, Hudson. I still love you.
Okay, I got a follow-up question, and this will be the last question on the topic. We're gonna end the show early today. But if there's one game or studio that you wish were canceled or closed, what would it be?
Wait, that we wish were canceled or closed?
Yeah, the one that came out that you're like, man, I really wish that was just a canceled game. That should have been, that should have been canceled.
See, I thought you were going the opposite direction, where that you would like, if we could bring something back, then revive something from the dead, throw a phoenix down on Silent Hills or something.
Yeah, tough one.
I know.
I can't think of
There's this game that was in-house developed by Axis for the PS3, and if anyone knows of this game, you'll say the same thing. But it was called Magus. It's a terrible game, and they like stealth released it for like $15 on the PS3, and it came out a couple years ago, like 3 years ago. And every time I like have a meeting with Axis, I always find a way to bring it up and tease them about it because it was their first in-house developed game, so you can't really expect much about it. But if you find it, go and pick it up. It's Magus for the PS3.
Mine's pretty easy. I mean, I think I'd be hard pressed to find people who wouldn't agree with it, but it would be. Oh, sorry. Dalo says Five Nights at Freddy's. That's
Yeah, please kill that game.
I'm just sick of. I walk into Game Stops a fair amount, and I'm sick of seeing stuff for it. Like, you don't even sell the game at GameStop. It's a PC. It's a Steam game. You don't see whatever. Like, I don't see why I have to go in there and see merchandise. If I had to pick one, it would be Metroid Prime Federation Force, which I reviewed. I gave that, I believe, like an 8 or a 7.5. It was a decent game. I'm not going to sit here and say that it was a bad game and that's why it shouldn't have been released. I just kind of think it did damage to the already kind of dead Metroid Prime series. I feel like
it's salt on the wound.
Yeah, I feel like if sales were low, and I feel like they were low on that game, then it's going to be an excuse for them to not move forward. The same rationale behind that, I don't even know the name of it, but it hurts me to think about it. The Castlevania game for 3DS that came out, was it Book of Shadows?
Yeah, it was like that anime style one. Is that the one?
Oh my god, it was like a 2D 2.5D platformer.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna say I could sit here and make a Castlevania game where I can do
I think
that.
you are, Lou.
but I mean, they have a formula for that game, and honestly, they could just keep pumping games out in that same formula and make everyone happy. I don't know anyone who realistically complains about the DS games or the Game Boy Advance games. So I think it's really, really awful that was the last Castlevania game I remember seeing, or at least original Castlevania game I remember seeing on a Nintendo platform. And I think it kind of sunk the ship. So I wish that was never out.
Yeah. It is salt on the wound for Metroid fans. And I'm not even a huge Metroid fan, and I was disgusted by it.
Dalo says Star Ocean 4.
Dalo, shut up. That's enough out of you.
I feel like he's just shitposting, which is fine. He can shitpost.
Star Ocean 4 is a great game.
Dalo says that game needed to be canned. We'll bring in Giuseppe next week. I think he has a differing opinion. All right, so we did this in the beginning. What we
Oh wait, I didn't do mine, Lou.
Oh, god damn it, Ryan.
So I think if I had more time to think about it, I'd probably have a better answer. But I think the one off the top of my head is Duke Nukem Forever, which was
yeah.
not a good game. Clearly, I think it was just like I appreciate the effort that went into getting it out after the decade that it spent in or longer. It spent a long time in development, but I think they should have just not. Just not like it was bad. It was like it was one of those things I think that was like more of a joke that it actually got released than like if it just never did. And it was I appreciate that they got it out, but I think they might as well just not released it.
Yeah,
I agree. That game was crap.
It was pretty bad.
Okay, so we did the games that we played this week. What are the games that we're going to play this upcoming week? We don't generally do this, but we're running short on time, so I want to squeeze it in. Azaria, what are you playing? You got every game that is coming out. What do you see playing this weekend?
Funny enough, I imported a copy of Caligula. Atlas is bringing it over for the Vita. I'm hoping to get down with that, but for this weekend, I'm going to be reviewing Tales of Berseria, and hopefully the new Digimon game if we get it in, so we can get that to you guys promptly. Other than that, picking away at more Atelier Shally Plus.
Yeah. Ryan, of course you're going back to Resident Evil, but.
I'm gonna. Yeah, I'm gonna finish Resident Evil. I'll probably play more Dragon Quest. That's kind of been my commute game right now. So like on the train, I've been playing that a little bit. I think the only other thing I'm planning to play, I got a closed beta code for Honor, which is this weekend. I think it starts, or no, tomorrow. I think actually the beta starts. So I might try a little bit more of that over the weekend, since the first time around I played it at the preview event, I liked it a lot, but I was terrible at it, and you can go on YouTube and see that I got killed a whole lot. So I'm hoping that this weekend I can kind of redeem myself a bit and not suck.
Dalo in the comments says he's waiting for Neo. Until then, Gravity Rush 2 and Wild Arms 3, plus Freedom Wars.
Freedom Wars, yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Good name drop. I have not played it, even though I've owned it. It's still in its package somewhere. And it's like, no, I keep games like this for a reason. It's like my rainy day fund. Where like when I am down and I need a good game to play. Like I still haven't played Link Between Worlds on 3DS.
Oh, wow. That's such a good game. Yeah, I love that game.
Because I'm waiting. I want it to kind of be my swan song for the system.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I feel the same way about like Trails of Cold Steel and the Legend of Heroes series. It's one of those games where you know it's gonna be good, so you kind of want to hold off on it until you need that kind of pick me up. There was a few years where Neptunia games were being pumped out every month, and I got really burnt out on Neptunia games. When before I really liked them, and I had to return to like the Tales of Symphonia series and like some of the older Final Fantasy games just to kind of clear my palate. So I know what you mean about rainy day games, definitely.
Yeah. I still have Xenoblade Chronicles on Wii U, and I have the hardbound book, and I'm waiting to play that too. That's going to be my last Wii U game. Now that Zelda is going to come out on the Switch. Myself, I just got a review copy for a bunch of games. I think I'm getting one for Limelight this weekend. I got one for Poochie and Yoshi's Woolly World. I think that's the name. Or
yeah,
Woolly Land. Who knows? So that'll be fun? Question mark.
Yeah, expect those reviews, right?
Yeah, expect those reviews early February. Not for a week, so we're fine.
Oh, good.
I think it's exactly next week, in fact. All right, so let's go into the upcoming games. This week is less packed than last week, but still some great games. Today, we had Memoranda come out on the PC. Tomorrow, Syndrome for PS4 and Imprint X for PC. On the 27th, we have Tales of Berseria for PC, The Sun and Moon on Xbox One, Doodle God Ultimate Edition on the Xbox One, Earthlock Festival of Magic for PS4. And then on the 30th, we've got Disgaea 2, Cursed Memories for PC, and Double Dragon 4 for PC and PS4. And we should have a review up for that. Also for Tales of Berseria, as we mentioned, because Azario is doing that. And Memoranda should be up by tonight, in fact. On the 31st, we've got...
Yeah.
Oh, go for it.
Oh, yeah, I was just also, you can check out, we actually did an interview with one of the developers of Memoranda that you can check out. It's on the site for a little bit more about the game.
Okay. On the 31st, we've got Dynasty Warriors Godseekers for PS4 and Vita. Digimon World Next Order for PS4. Hopefully going to have the review out on time for that. We've been talking to Bandai Namco. Hitman, the complete first season, which we'll finally get to reviewing. That'll be fun on PS4. Conan Exiles for PC. Don Bradman's Cricket 17, everyone's favorite game.
Game of the year 2017.
Constructor HD for PS4 and Xbox One. Divide for PS4. Kill the Bad Guy for Xbox One. And Knee Deep for PS4. So, by all accounts, a stacked week. It's pretty big, especially for PS4 owners. The standouts among these, I would say Digimon, Hitman, and Tales.
Yeah. I haven't played the Hitman series, but every person I've talked to that have played that new game says it's great. So I plan on picking up the complete season for sure.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna plan to keep most of my February and March open for Horizon when that comes out at the end of the month.
Yeah, that's true.
Very excited for that.
The end of the month. When does that come out?
It's end of February. It's like like literally the end of February. So
right, that's the 28th. In fact, I know that.
28th, yeah.
that is really, really important
That's
to me.
close
Oh,
to
and
the
you know,
Nintendo
I would say it
Switch.
comes out 3 days before the Switch. Like,
I know.
Yeah,
But
and
it's okay. There's not
and
much
I'm on
to play
vacation,
the Switch
too.
Anyway.
For those who don't know, in like a month I'm going on vacation, so you're gonna have to deal with just Ryan and Azario alone.
Hey.
Oh, and
two-man
Giuseppe.
show. Maybe
Giuseppe.
Giuseppe.
Yeah, Giuseppe maybe. He's still doing his Japan thing. We're gonna see if he ever adapts to the time zone change.
We'll see if he ever comes back from Japan.
He did a great article. In fact, I'm going to point everyone to that article. If you haven't seen it on DualShockers, we wrote an article about traveling with your PlayStation 4 Pro.
Oh yeah, that's pretty
And
good.
how well it like holds up. And really, it was just an excuse for Giuseppe to like brag about going to Japan. He's like,
Yeah,
"Hey,
I
make an article
know.
over this." But that said, it's a great written article, and it's got some amazing pictures of the PS4
A
Pro.
PlayStation
in
Pro
weird
traveling.
locations. It's like what was the thing, like the Paper Sam? Was that an elementary school Paper something?
Flat Stanley.
Flat Stanley.
Yeah.
What
where
the
you bring
hell
it-
is that? Some East Coast thing, guys?
It's
Maybe.
it's where you not even so Flat Stanley is the thing where like you print out a little dude that like you put it in front of like landmarks and stuff. You take a picture of it and take this, like I actually it was funny because like it's not just an East Coast thing, because when I went to Yellowstone last year, they had, I forgot the name of it, but it was like a doll that you'd buy, and it was of this like prospector like ranger dude. And it was like you take that and take pictures in front of like landmarks and things. I forget the name of it. It was
I think in Japan they do those little llamas. They like get those little plush llamas and they take pictures of them.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right, so let me fire through the social media and site plugs. You can check out. You can find our Twitter, our Facebook, and our Instagram just by looking up DualShockers. For YouTube, it's a little different. You go to youtube.com/DSTV Originals to come watch and be part of the show. This is the part I said everyone tunes out for in the beginning of the show. Join us every Wednesday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern to watch us at twitch.tv/DualShockers Live. Keep Dalo company in the chat. And, of course, we read all your comments out, even if you don't want us to. And finally, you can find our around-the-clock news coverage, reviews, features, and editorials over at DualShockers.com. Some of the cool content that came out this week was we did an interview with Truant Pixel, who you guys might know for making all those great dynamic themes that they do. And they came to us specifically because they know the site. They've been reading the site well before they were developers, and they wanted to announce their new game, which is an Otome game, Akash Path of the Five. So we have a pretty neat interview on there about Akash and the state of Otome, if that interests you. And also, apparently, they're Nintendo, officially licensed Nintendo developers.
Wow, good for them.
You're right, and that just came out like nonchalantly in the interview. So they may have a project working for Switch, though they don't announce anything. So, whatever. Yeah, Ryan, do you have anything you want to plug site-wise?
No, I don't think right now, but you keep reading,
Yeah,
the usual.
Azario, any great features you put up?
Well, I am hoping to get out a visual novel review by tomorrow for Corona Blossom, Frontwing's new visual novel. So it's going to be the all ages version. It's volume 3. So if I do the complete story, then I'll like review the full 18+ version. But we'll see if I get to that, because I have a lot to do. So I hope that I can make some time. But with Digimon and Tales of Berseria, I feel like for a little while my plate is full.
All right. Well, thanks for watching, everyone. Thanks for being part of the show if you were here. Thanks for listening at home if you're doing that while you're sleeping. My name's Lou Cataldi. You can find me over at Twitter at Lou Cataldi. Azario, where can they find you?
You can find me at Azario Says. Sweet dreams.
And Ryan?
I'll be under the covers playing Resident Evil later from fear. But you can find me on Twitter at my name. It's just Ryan Leitler.
All right. Now we're going to blissfully tune you out with some rock music. Talk to you later, guys.
Bye.